Hello everybody, it's time once again for another still frame review. Well, we're going back to Disney because Jason, my friend, has given me a suggestion of reviewing the 2001 animated film Atlantis: The Lost Empire. He had just seen my Moana review where I mentioned it came out around the time I started going into college, and so I wasn't aware of pop culture at the time since I was busy with other things, and it just kind of flew under my radar. Well, Atlantis was this movie for him. It came out around that same time in his life, and it kind of flew under his radar, and he didn't see it until recently. And I thought, wow, my goodness, Jason's old. But also, I was curious to see what I would think of this movie since I hadn't seen it in like 10 years or something like that. And I remember not particularly caring for it then, so what do I think of it now? Well, it's fine, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of a mixed bag. But let me give you the plot first. In 1914, a linguist working at the Smithsonian Institute, Milo Thatch, gets a once-in-a-lifetime offer to work for an eccentric millionaire to go on this expedition to find the lost city of Atlantis. He joins a colorful cast of characters as they meet misfortune along their journey to finally arrive at the quasi-utopian city of Atlantis deep underneath the surface. There he makes friends with Kida, the princess of the city, and they set out on a search for the heart of Atlantis, a mysterious power source that keeps the city safe and runs all of their futuristic sci-fi technology. However, some unscrupulous characters want to steal the heart of Atlantis, thus endangering the entire city. Now, this story was obviously very Jules Verne inspired, and you get some of those tropes of the same stories and old movies like The Lost World and 20,000 Leagues, etc., etc. You've got the older aesthetic, the steampunk technology, the femme fatale, or femme fatale as some boring people like to say. But besides these tropes, the story also comes with a bunch of cliches, especially around the characters. The twist villain is especially cringy. I haven't cringed so much since the twist villain of Big Hero 6. And if you can't tell, I'm doing this with my fingers. Fortunately, this movie has the decency to keep that a midpoint twist rather than a climactic twist, so there's not so much not fooling anyone build up. It does feel like maybe in a previous draft or in an unwritten draft yet to come, the writers have planned on revealing this twist villain earlier in the film, thus following Hitchcock's rule of always choosing suspense over surprise. That way you're guaranteed longer emotional investment by the audience. However, the version they have now, they don't go all the way with that idea, and it's still, in the end, a twist, and it just comes across as really lame. Speaking of lame, the late 90s, early 2000s integration of CG with the traditional 2D animation can be pretty lame at some points. Not so much when it's fast action shots with a lot of elements flying back and forth across the screen, but when it's a really slow and clear shot, it gets pretty awkward. However, you can tell what they were trying to do with the cinematography. This is one of the few animated Disney films to be shot in a CinemaScope aspect ratio, and it fits the genre of an adventure sci-fi story. Unlike something, say, Lady and the Tramp, where it was a small intimate film about dogs that didn't really deserve that aspect ratio. But everything here is shot and composed like it's supposed to be this grand adventure, and it really does fit the story well. Also, the music is grand and adventurous, and I think I'll be listening to James Newton Howard's soundtrack later on by itself. The film has a star-studded cast with Michael J. Fox and James Garner, Leonard Nimoy, John Mahoney, Jim Varney, everybody you can possibly think of. However, I don't think they were utilized the best they possibly could be, but their performances were still enjoyable. So as you can see, this movie really is kind of a mixed bag. The main problem I have with it is the tropes really do start to bleed into cliches, and I would like to study more about why some things are considered tropes and some things are considered cliches, and why one is good and one is bad. Right now, I think tropes are better suited for more general elements such as design aesthetics and story structure, whereas cliches tend to show up in more specific elements such as character and plot points. So as far as animated sci-fi, steampunk, Jules Verne inspired adventure films go, I'm gonna give this one a C for cliche, but still enjoyable. This film reminded me of Tron Legacy. It's not a particularly good movie in terms of story and character, but you still feel cool while you're watching it. It's an experiential film. You may not get invested in the characters, but it's cool to see some steampunk explosion type stuff. So if you're looking for investment, this film may not be for you, but if you're looking for an experience, this is one of them. So that was my review of Atlantis: The Lost Empire. Hopefully it's going to be the last Disney review for a good long while, but let me know if you have any other films or television shows you'd like me to review. Oh, what's that, Nathaniel? Or Nate as he's called online? Wait. Oh, you got one? Raya and the Last Dragon. Okay. Fine. See you later.